the current light heavyweight champion of the world, El Monstruo Mexicano, David Benavidez. Cruiserweight champion of the world, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez weighs.
I think it's going to go rounds. For those out there wondering about how I'm handicapping it, I think it's going to go rounds. Ramirez he's a steady, just a steady guy, a southpaw who's a steady, workman-like guy. You know, his hands aren't as fast as Benavidez. He doesn't have the explosiveness of Benavidez. Benavidez will bring, he's kind of like being out in a climate where it's prone to cloudbursts, where 1 minute it could be sunny and the next day or the next second it'd be a cloudburst of torrential rain. That's Benavidez. All of a sudden, cloudburst of punches. Then all of a sudden, steady, outside, long jab, and then cloudburst of punches.
That I think a lot of people are going into this going, well, David Benavidez, no matter how many times he moves up weight classes, he just is better than everybody else. He's got more dog in him than everybody else, got more volume punching than everybody else, and he's more accurate than everybody else. We've seen what he can do at 175. I think 175 is probably the best class for him, I'll be honest. At 200 pounds, David, I didn't say this, but I kind of did. You're looking like a bag of milk, right? A little jiggly, okay? A little jiggly puff. But outside of that, we know what David Benavidez brings to the ring. He is an absolute DAWG dog.
He almost looks like a force that can't be beaten. Like all of a sudden, if you asked me 12 to 18 months ago, who wins, Benavidez, Bivol? I'd have said Bivol all day long. Benavidez, Beterbiev. Oh, Beterbiev. Benavidez, Jai. You ask me those questions now and I kind of like, I don't know. That's what Benavidez has done to us. Because of that victory over David Morrell, which is a good victory, the way in which he just kind of sort of hot knife through butter against Anthony Yard, you're thinking this guy's got everything. He's got punch power, good punch power as well. Not one punch KO power, but he's got punch power where you know you've been hurt. His gas tank's incredible. It's always punches and bunches. Like he's never throwing single shots. It's always 3s and 4s and 5s. Go and look at what he did to Yard. Go and look at what he did to David Morrell.
Zurdo is already planning retirement, and maybe that won't affect him. I just know that for the most part, when you see a fighter half committed and a fighter fully committed go into a fight together, it's usually the guy that isn't thinking about retiring in a couple of fights that when it gets tough is going to quit, right? He's not the guy that's going to go, you know, I'm already about to retire. Why don't I just retire tonight? Why don't I just take it easier tonight? It's a little too hot out here. Why don't I call it a night? You know what I mean? And I'm not supposing for you that Zurdo will do that. I'm just saying it does give you at least a bit of an insight as to where his mindset is going into this fight.
I know David's been working hard, and I know what he's going to do Saturday night.
And what does it mean for you to know that your brother looked up to you growing up, and now he's here at this spot?
It means the world to me because, you know, I've always wanted a little brother. I got my little brother, and I always looked out for him. I always believed in him, you know, and I always knew that he was going to be a fucking monster. But, you know, life is hard. I had to do some things and make him hard. You know, I would make him get in fights, and you know, that's because I was always bad. You know, so, but hey, that's what made him who he is, right? It's tough love, and you know, I wouldn't change nothing of it.
Size-wise, it's a great matchup. David Benavidez undersized for cruiserweight, so and Zurdo is a big cruiserweight, so that part's interesting. What does the gas tank look like if Zurdo does, you know, sustain and he's able to slow that tempo down and make David fight a bit of a different fight? What does that look like? What does it look like if David can't hurt him with combinations and instead is in the pocket a little too long and Zurdo takes advantage of that? We've seen David in the David Morrell fight. We've seen him and Morrell go back and forth, and Morrell catch him with probably the best punch in the fight and hurt David with it. What does his chin look like at cruiserweight? I'm not questioning it, but it's just, these are things you got to ask because we haven't seen him there.
I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a real competitive fight where I wouldn't be shocked if you could even think about a draw. I know that sounds funny coming from me right now, you know, early prediction talking about, but I like Benavidez. I think his speed will be a difference. I think his ability to open up in those bursts, but the steadiness of Ramirez.
Benavidez could beat everybody. My money with Benavidez until he gets beat. And then if he gets beat, I'm still with him.
And I just applaud David Benavidez because he ducks no one. Watch yourself. I just applaud the fact that he ducks no one. And he's ready to fight at all times. He is the Mexican monster. Sometimes I'm wondering, is somebody going to hurt him because he's right there in front of them. He doesn't move, but he clearly shows he can take a punch and he can damn sure give one with either hand. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got boxing ability, he's got heart. And I don't know if there's a bigger fan of David Benavidez than me.
The legendary Mike Tyson has thrown his full support behind David Benavidez in the upcoming WBO cruiserweight title clash, backing the Mexican warrior to emerge victorious over Zurdo Ramirez with both his words and his wallet.
What makes him so good in your opinion, Mike? Why does he beat everybody in your opinion?
His attitude. You know, he was the little heavy fat kid and stuff like that, and he wanted to prove himself to the world. Listen, the greatest fighters in the world are the most insecure fighters.
David Benavidez radiates confidence heading into this massive showdown, vowing to unleash his signature aggressive approach against Gilberto Ramirez while expressing complete faith in his ability to exploit weaknesses and deliver devastating punishment throughout the contest.
You guys know how I fight. I've come too far to try to change up my style, and I am who I am, you know what I mean? This is the way I love to fight. I'm gonna go in there, and I see a lot of opportunities me hurting Zurdo. So now and I've hurt him a lot before in sparring sessions, so I know for a fact I can hurt him, but it's just now that when I hurt him, I open him up, I gotta make sure I stay on him to get the stoppage. But I definitely feel like I can get a stoppage. I just gotta work behind the jab, use my movement, use some counter shots, and I see a lot of opportunities for me hurting Zurdo and then ultimately taking him out.
Benavidez demonstrates the mindset of a true champion by refusing to underestimate his opponent, showing complete reverence for Gilberto Ramirez's abilities, and expecting to face a lightning-quick, devastating, and tactically brilliant adversary who will push him to deliver his most elite performance yet.
Zurdo Ramirez do anything with David Benavidez.
You always, as a fighter, you have to give the respect where the respect is due, and you always have to be cautious. I think the fighters that go in the fight cocky, thinking that nothing could happen to me, sometimes get hurt, or sometimes something happens to them. You know, I'm expecting the best Zurdo Ramirez ever. In my head, the way I got prepared for Zurdo Ramirez, I'm expecting him to be fast. I'm expecting him to be powerful. I'm expecting him to have a good IQ in the boxing room. That's going to allow me to bring the best out of myself and perform at the highest level.
The rising star shifts his tactical focus from raw knockout power to lightning combinations and relentless pace as he climbs weight divisions, planning to break down Gilberto Ramirez through sustained body punishment and surgical precision strikes that accumulate damage without warning.
You know, what I've learned from my past fights is that now that I'm going up in weight, you know, what I've learned is that now I've been blessed with speed. So I'm not going up there trying to outpower him. I'm not going to try to look for one shot. I've learned that the power is in the combinations. The punches that hurt the fighters are the ones that they don't see.
Exactly.
You know, I think I've showed that from my last fight with Anthony Yard, you know, staying consistent with the jab, throwing combinations, breaking them down little by little, and then attacking that body, and you know, and everything follows in line. So, you know, I have a great, you know, game plan for this fight. I know I'm going to be faster than Zurdo Ramirez. So my game plan is, you know, put them punches and bunches, put them combinations together, and attack the body all night.
Gilberto Ramirez radiates unshakable confidence entering this career-defining battle, dismissing any concerns about David Benavidez's celebrated quickness while maintaining laser focus on establishing his dominance among boxing's elite tier and cementing his championship credentials.
So the big thing with David is his speed and his volume. How much of a concern do you think that is in the fight, and how have you been preparing for it?
No, I've been preparing really well, but no concern. And so I'm just excited for May 2nd because I'm going to prove myself that I'm the best.
Why is that not a concern? Because you've seen in the other fights, that's what gets the fighters. He overwhelms everybody with his speed and volume.
I mean, he's been doing well, and like you say, but I'm confident what I can do in the ring.
Ramirez carries himself with the poise of an established title holder, drawing inspiration from his championship legacy while continuously pursuing marquee battles that validate his position among the sport's premier talents and solidify his claim as the division's alpha.
I'm a champion already, and I'm two-time world champion, and then I'm a unified champion, and I'm for me it's I don't care what can put me, but I'm more care for my legacy, for myself, because I get into this sport because I want to prove myself that I'm the best and I can do it. That's why I'm taking all this fight.
Benavidez employs a meticulous preparation strategy, training specifically to face the most dangerous possible version of his rival by perfecting his defensive positioning, ring movement, and counter-attacking sequences to handle every tactical adjustment Ramirez might deploy during combat.
I like to give the opponent a little bit more respect than they really deserve. You know, not that they deserve, but you know what I mean? I make sure that I'm preparing for the best version of whatever opponent I'm going up with. So that being said, I'm making sure my defense is on point. I'm making sure my footwork is on point. I'm making sure my counter shots are on point. So for every reaction, or for every action he has to do, there has to be a reaction for myself. You know what I mean? So I've been working this consistently in the gym. You know, if he throws something, I got to come back with a counter shot. I got to do a defensive shot. So I'm making sure all my P's and Q's are what they're supposed to be. And we got a great game plan. You know what I mean? I got to be prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready for the best, and I got to be prepared for the worst.
Ramirez maintains complete mental isolation from external noise and predictions once competition begins, channeling total concentration into ring warfare while framing this encounter as a mutual pursuit where each fighter covets what the other possesses, creating an ultimate battle for supremacy.
Passionate, belt, ring, everything, nothing matters, just the win. Because he wanna take something that I have, I wanna take something that he had, and that's why that does all matter.
Boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. praises this Mexican showdown as an exceptional fan-pleasing encounter with legitimate competitive stakes, giving a slight advantage to Benavidez, while acknowledging Ramirez as a battle-tested and extremely hazardous challenger.
Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez.
That's a good fight. I can't wait to see that. I think Benavidez definitely beats Zurdo, but it's a great fight.
Golden Boy's Oscar De La Hoya hypes this all-Mexican collision as a monumental moment for boxing, anticipating relentless intensity and explosive exchanges from both warriors while noting Benavidez' volume punching against Ramirez's more calculated shot selection, ultimately favoring Benavidez in what could be decided by a single decisive sequence.
Styles make fights, obviously, and I've watched many Benavidez fights. I've watched many Zurdo fights. Obviously, I promote them, but Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Doesn't throw everything with power, and he doesn't really have a good chin. Okay, I mean, Zurdo, on the other hand, takes his time. It's very calculated, but every punch he throws, it's hard. It's got bad intention. All it takes in one exchange, when Benavidez is throwing punches and bunches, all it takes is one. That's all it takes, and it can change the fight. So I'm gonna go with Benavidez by a haymaker.
De La Hoya emphasizes the massive significance of this championship encounter, predicting non-stop fireworks and crushing pressure that will force both competitors to elevate their preparation and deliver an absolute war when the lights shine brightest on fight night.
For boxing in general, when you pit a Mexican fighter and a Mexican-American fighter in that same ring, you're gonna get fireworks. In Cinco de Mayo weekend, there's an added pressure on the fighters to perform even better than what they're used to performing. They're gonna train harder. They know what's at stake. The fighters know they have to impress the fight fans because the fight fans expect a war on Cinco de Mayo. That's how important this date is. So the fact that we can make this fight together with PBC, that we can make this fight together with Prime, with Golden Boy, I'm excited for that, but obviously more excited for the fight. These guys are gonna bring it on Saturday night, May 2nd. And the fact that the fans are expecting it. The pressure is on for the fighters to perform. That's what I love.
Respected trainer Robert Garcia acknowledges Gilberto Ramirez as a fundamentally sound professional athlete with legitimate one-punch power and extensive championship experience, though he questions whether Ramirez's resolve and urgency hold up when facing sustained offensive pressure.
Hey, Benavidez or Zurdo?
Zurdo's a great person. I swear to God, I love Zurdo. He's a great dude. He's a very respectable person. He's a fucking straight up Mexican. He parties hard when he parties too. He does. He don't give a fuck. Man, he just skills, but Benavidez is just a fucking monster, man. Benavidez, look, skills-wise, I think Zurdo's a fucking great skilled fighter. But when it comes to the fucking hunger, the attitude, the fucking Benavidez don't give a fuck, man. Benavidez got cracked hard by that Cuban. What's his name?
Jose Benavidez Jr. anticipates that Ramirez will reach peak training intensity, knowing the threat David presents, but maintains that despite both fighters' evolution, his brother remains the division's elite talent with unmatched velocity, ring intelligence, and technical precision that no current cruiserweight can equal.
And I'm sure Zurdo trained, probably his hardest he's ever trained in his life because he knows what David's going to come with. And I mean, I could tell you what happened, but I mean, what's the point of that? At the end, look, this is the way I see it. They were younger, so you learn. But I just feel like my brother outclasses everybody in this weight class and the higher weight class. He's just too fast. His IQ is crazy. I don't see anybody beating my brother or even being close.
Sebastian Fundora highlights David Benavidez's exceptional recent dominance, emphasizing his unique combination of physical dimensions, lightning speed, unrelentless offensive output that differs from traditional power punchers through his ability to inflict cumulative damage via endless combination attacks.
Benavidez, he's been on a good run, beating everybody. His last fight looked spectacular and a heavier guy, stronger guy. So on paper, but we saw the difference in that. So I think they sparred a couple times ago. I think you mentioned to me before, and that it was fairly easy to him as well. So I favor Benavidez in this fight. Benavidez definitely has the punch to do it and the speed. He's bringing a lot of speed. Again, talking about the last fight, you saw the speed difference in these guys because these guys kind of like heavyweights, looking for one punch. All it takes is one punch. Just when is that punch gonna come? Benavidez is a lot different than these guys because he has speed. He'll throw like 20 punches at you and he'll hit you with all of them and they're all gonna hurt you.
Former champion John Molina Jr. selects David Benavidez as his prediction winner while maintaining deep respect for both competitors' abilities, citing Benavidez's complete fighting style as the decisive factor that makes him the deserved betting favorite.
Big fight coming up very shortly, very soon, probably within a couple of days from now, actually, and that is Zurdo versus David Benavidez. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Again, I think I'm more partial toward Benavidez. I think he is probably I don't want to say the A side because they're both great fighters, but I think he's going to be the one to win. I think it's favorite for him to win. I like Munguia and AC Resendez from Bayside High, old school Mario Lopez. But that's going to be a fun fight, a really, really fun fight.
Molina Jr. warns that sparring sessions cannot replicate the intensity and spotlight pressure of championship combat, noting that while both Benavidez and Ramirez have improved significantly since their amateur days, everything changes when the real stakes are on the line.
No, because sparring is sparring and fighting is fighting under the big lights and the big stage. And they've grown since that time significantly. You can see guys' characteristics, but everything changes. So I think it's still going to be a good fight for sure.
Analyst Sean Zatol recognizes that Benavidez faces his most challenging test against a naturally larger opponent in Ramirez, warning that Ramirez must achieve peak physical conditioning to avoid being overwhelmed, though he still rates Benavidez's speed and skill set as superior enough to control the entire contest.
Time is fighting someone bigger than he is, and I don't think Ramirez, he better not show up like he did for the Dorticos fight, his last fight, where he's very fleshy, soft around the midsection. He's got to come correct, and if he does, he'll provide some resistance, but, Benavidez is one of the best fighters in the world, and
Boxing veteran Fernando Vargas expresses admiration for both world-class competitors entering fight weekend, recognizing Gilberto Ramirez's proven championship pedigree, while ultimately rating David Benavidez as too physically gifted and technically complete to suffer defeat.
The Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez, Cinco De Mayo weekend.
I'm cool with both. Zurdo's a great world champion. I just feel Benavidez is, he's too good.
Renowned trainer Joel Diaz analyzes the stylistic matchup between these Mexican stars, crediting Ramirez's durability and physical strength while leaning toward Benavidez based on his superior hand speed, movement, and punch output that should accumulate enough rounds to secure a decision victory.
Zurdo Ramirez is a tough fighter. He's strong. He's physically strong, big fighter. But Benavidez has speed in his hands, more movement. I mean, I see a fight going the distance by...
Diaz expects Benavidez to establish immediate tempo and pressure that prevents Ramirez from finding his rhythm early, acknowledging that Ramirez typically strengthens in later rounds while Benavidez may fade slightly, but still favoring Benavidez's sustained activity to control the scorecards.
The way I see the fight is going to be hard for Bivol. I mean, for Zurdo Ramirez in the first 5 rounds because of the speed, you know. And from there on, after the 6th, if Zurdo is still in the fight, he gets stronger because Zurdo gets stronger in the later rounds. And I noticed that Benavidez gets a little tired, and now the factor is weight now. Let's see what it does because Zurdo Ramirez comes into the fight heavy, and hopefully he's not a big factor in the later rounds for Benavidez. But other than that, I see Benavidez, you know, outboxing Zurdo.
Trainer Jai Opeta views this as an evenly matched battle in terms of work rate and activity level, giving a narrow edge to Benavidez due to his youthful energy, championship hunger, and burning desire to establish his legacy as the determining psychological advantage.
Well, I think it's going to be a good fight. They both got high work rates. I believe Benavidez is younger and hungrier, you know what I mean? Zurdo's chasing that payday. That's why, you know, I believe Benavidez still chasing a bit more legacy. You know, he's got unfinished business. So.
Callum Smith predicts a competitive fight while favoring Benavidez based on his superior hand speed, dismissing size as a major factor, since neither fighter is a natural cruiserweight, and noting that Benavidez appears perfectly adapted to the new weight class, with excellent preparation and supreme confidence.
Good fight, really good fight. I just think speed with Benavidez probably maybe be the difference. I think he's got really fast hands. I don't think Ramirez is the fastest.
Yeah.
I think the speed, and I don't think Ramirez, neither of them are genuine massive cruiserweight, so I don't think the size will be too much of a factor. Although I was seeing head to head, and Ramirez looks massive to be fair, considering he both come from 168. But yeah, I just think the speed of Benavidez will probably be. Plus, they've sparred a lot as well, so I don't think if Benavidez fancied it too much, he doesn't have to go up to cruiserweight. So the fact that he's choosing to do it means he probably likes how the spars went.
Boxing analyst Showbiz describes David Benavidez as possessing the technical tools and champion mentality of a potential all-time great, who still needs a signature victory to validate those claims, viewing this encounter as his opportunity to rise under maximum pressure and prove his elite status.
I think he is an all-time great already in here and in here. So now he just got to show it. I think he's been building the right building blocks. I think he already has one of the better resumes in boxing. And I think this is the perfect time and perfect opportunity to show people what greatness looks like and how greatness is being manufactured and how greatness is being shaped.
The expert consensus strongly backs David Benavidez as the clear favorite over Gilberto Ramirez, emphasizing his lightning hand speed, technical superiority, and relentless combination punching that targets both body and head, while respecting Ramirez as a proven multi-division champion with size and strength advantages that ultimately won't overcome Benavidez's overwhelming offensive pressure and ring control.
He will beat Ramirez. Hands are too fast, too tricky, too crafty. He's too busy. Downstairs, upstairs, downstairs, upstairs. David Benavidez is just too good of a fighter.
Combinations. Like, what's wrong with him?
And this is not to discredit Ramirez, who's a real champion. He's a guy that has been a champion in different divisions. He's a big guy. He won't beat Benavidez. David Benavidez will win that fight big. Trust me, I'm saying it now. He'll win that fight massive, which will make the...
That concludes today's comprehensive breakdown of this spectacular championship clash, and we trust you found our analysis engaging and informative. So please share your predictions for this thrilling encounter in our comments below, and remember to subscribe for continued coverage of this epic boxing showdown.